Sometimes I just read a book and I immediately think, wow, this is such a Taylor Swift song. And maybe that's because I am a Swiftie, and in the background of my mind there is this constant medley of Taylor Swift lyrics going on. And maybe that is normal if you have been religiously listening to an artist for the past 17 years of your life. But let's get straight to the point of this video. I'm recommending you books based on some Taylor Swift songs. Let's start this journey through Debut. If you like Picture to Burn, if you think you can go out with all of his best friends, if as far as you're concerned they are just another picture to burn, then read Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. This book gives you major Cosby Girl OG vibes. It tells the story of PJ Palantine and Magnolia Parks. They are rich socialites, very, very rich socialites in London, and they have a very toxic on and off relationship. And PJ is just another picture Magnolia needs to burn. And if you read this book, I won't tell you more, so because this book is just, it's really fun, and it just gives you that picture to burn vibe that I'm a teenager and teenage angst or early 20s angst, and this guy is a redneck heartbreak that is really bad at life. From Debut, let's keep all the way to Red. If you like The Lucky One, which is a song that reflects on fame, you might enjoy The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This novel is very popular on social media and it totally deserves the hype. It follows Evelyn Hugo. She was one of the biggest stars of the 1950s, 1960s Hollywood scene. She's a really famous actress. Now an elder, Evelyn decides it's time to tell her story. This is the story of her life. It's a really interesting story. It is really well written, really well plotted. Taylor Jenkins Reid is really good at telling stories and just making them look like a movie that is on pages. And if you like this famous trope, to peek behind the scenes of famous people's lives, you might enjoy The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Still on Red, but this time on Taylor's version, we have Nothing New, which is a song that talks about being 20, early 20s, and actually general 20s, and feeling lost. And for that reason, you might enjoy one of my favorite series ever, the Neapolitan novels by Elena Ferrante. This is a 4-part series that follows this girl. She's born in a poor family in the suburbs of Naples. It takes place shortly after the Second World War, and we follow this girl, Elena. We follow her grow up, go from little girl to a teenager to an adult, entering the elder phase of her life, like her daughter's already grown up. And this book discusses female friendships, it discusses growing up, it discusses the realities of being born in the 1940s and being a woman in the 1940s and growing up in a poor, uneducated space, and then going to dealing mainly with people that are street smart to book smart. And Elena Ferrante, she just has this way of writing. She knows exactly how to explore the facets and very specific details of girlhood and womanhood. And the storytelling in this book, it is 4 books long. It's a very long series, but it is very long for a reason. It is really well constructed. The plot is beautiful, the storytelling is beautiful. I read this book many years ago and I still think about it constantly. I just love this. And if Nothing New is a song that just hits for you, if you relate with what Nothing New is talking about, or if you ever related with what Nothing New talks about, the Neapolitan novels, they are probably for you. They are just an incredible beacon of amazing storytelling and of exploration of girlhood and womanhood. And Elena Ferrante, she is just such a master and an incredible writer. Let's move on to one of my favorite songs by Taylor Swift. At least it was it was the song I listened to the most in 2023, statistically according to Spotify. Vigilante Shit. And there is no better book that will encapsulate the vibe of Vigilante Shit than My favorite book ever, The Count of Monte Cristo. She needed cold hard proof, so I gave her some. She had the envelope. Where did you think she got it from? The Count of Monte Cristo follows the man that lived half his life for revenge. It's quite literally, lately he had been trusting for revenge. They couldn't have done something worse than cross this man's path. You know how Taylor Swift says, picture me thick as thieves with your ex-wife? Here, picture him thick as thieves with your son and the kid you sold to slavery. And I could go on, but I already gave you way too many spoilers. So what The Count of Monte Cristo is about? Besides being one of the best-selling books ever, and a book that it's over 1,000 pages long, but manages to never be dull and boring and slow, it's just so magnificent. The Count of Monte Cristo follows Edmond Dantes. He is a sailor, and when he's coming back from a very long trip, his captain just died, and he gets this promotion he was really wanting, and his life, it seems like it couldn't get better because he just got the job promotion he wanted. He's getting married to the love of his life, and he's just so happy. And then there is this guy who's kind of jealous of him because he has a crush on his fiancée, and then he befriends the guy that wanted the job promotion Edmond Dantes got, and then they kind of frame him for a crime he didn't commit because Edmond Dantes unknowingly he has this information that could really ruin the life of the guy that is supposed to judge him. The guy that is supposed to judge him purposefully gives him the worst sentence possible so this information doesn't leak. And then while he is in prison, he has a lot of time to think, and then he happens to meet this dude who teaches him a lot of stuff, and he becomes super book smart but also sea smart because he's a sailor, and until then he wasn't street smart, but this dude also teaches him to be street smart. And then, you know, he's in prison, he has nothing to do except plan his revenge. So one day he manages to run away from prison, and because of the way he ran away, people are sure he's dead. And you remember that guy that taught him a lot of stuff? Well, he also had the map for this incredible treasure that is one of the biggest treasures that on planet Earth. And because they are really good friends, and the dude is dying, so he gives Edmond the map for him to get the treasure. So Edmond Dantes runs away, gets in a ship, gets the treasure, secretly becomes one of the richest men on Earth, like Jeff Bezos. Who? This man is loaded. This man can afford everything he wants. With an incredible amount of money and time and a well-crafted plan, and being book smart, street smart, sea smart, and now with a nobility title he just bought, this man is going Vigilante Shit on all of those people that wronged him. And you think this book has plot holes? Of course not! This book is a masterpiece! This book has no plot holes, this book is perfect. If you love Vigilante Shit, if you want something that has Vigilante Shit vibes with The Count of Monte Cristo, don't be afraid of its size. It's completely worth it. This journey, it's completely worth it. Staying on the same vibes.
Oh, look what you made me do. Look what you made me do.
If you like what you made me do, know what you will enjoy. Another one of the best revenge stories ever, Hamlet by William Shakespeare. And of course, Hamlet's good. Shakespeare is one of the best storytellers in history. But Hamlet, if you like, look what you made me do, Hamlet. Hamlet, it's like he's the inferior cousin to the Count of Monte Cristo, but it is just as glorious as the Count of Monte Cristo. It's just as interesting and fun as the Count of Monte Cristo. And if you like Reputation, if you like Look What You Made Me Do, if you like, actually also like I Did Something Bad with Hamlet, you might enjoy it. And the thing is, I almost put the Count of Monte Cristo on Look What You Made Me Do, but the Count of Monte Cristo can be Look What You Made Me Do, but Hamlet can be Vigilante Shit. Staying on the same vibe as Female Rage, we have another one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs, Nobody, No Crime featuring HAIM. If you like a story that has no plot holes, it has twists that are just so interesting, you might enjoy A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This is a YA thriller that it's just so beautifully written and plotted, and there are just so many twists and turns, and they are all incredible. And some of them you can see them from a mile away, but others they are surprising. And just as Nobody No Crime, this book deals with murder, someone managing to cover a murder so well that now people think someone else killed the person, and great storytelling. Let's be a little bit more romantic now, but still, we're staying in the Reputation era. Dancing with Our Hands Tied. This is Twisted Games by Elena Huang. Dancing with Our Hands Tied explores the relationship where Taylor thinks she has deep fear that the world will divide them. She doesn't want people to find them out right now, and Twisted Games is dead. Twisted Games follows Bridget. She's the princess of a small European country, and one day her brother, he just tells her that he's abdicating to the throne, and now she's about to become queen of the country. And one of the rules from this small European country is that the king or queen of the country can only be married to nobility. The problem is Bridget is in love with her bodyguard, Reese. If you are getting Princess Diaries vibes, yes, this is Princess Diaries, but this is the prequel of Princess Diaries, where we follow this parallel universe where Queen Clarice and Joe decide to get married. Twisted Games is the second book in a series, but you can read it as a standalone. Now let's go back to one of the most popular songs from 2023 and one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs, Cruel Summer. And what Cruel Summer talks about? Falling in love with someone you wasn't expecting to fall in love with during the summer. And what book gives better vibes of Cruel Summer than one of my favorite books of 2023 and the books that presented me to my ultimate boyfriend? And Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Book Lovers follows two bookish people. Nora, she's the quintessential big city girlie from every rom-com. The girl that the main guy always dumps. And it's so funny because apparently this keeps happening to Nora. And Nora, she's a literary agent, she's very type A, and she's the eldest sister. And then we have Charlie. He's a book editor with whom, from the first time they meet, there was some animosity between them. But then one day, her little sister, Libby, she convinces Nora to go on this vacation with her to a small town called Sunshine Falls. This town happens to be the town where the favorite book is based off, but also turns out Sunshine Falls, it's the hometown of Charlie Lastra. Nora goes to this small town, she finds her professional rival, and they just have these little moments, and this book is just so divine. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to read the development of the relationship between Nora and her sister Libby, Nora and Charlie, and Nora with herself. It's refreshing to see a small town romance where the main character is unapologetically the big bad big girl city that romance novels seem to not like. It's also really nice to see that moment where she wants to scream, "I love you, ain't that the worst thing you have ever heard?" And then he looks up grinning like a devil. Staying on the cute romantic side of Taylor Swift, we have Labyrinth. If you like Labyrinth and that fluffy side of the song, but with some darker nuances, you might enjoy Beach Read by Emily Henry. Beach Read follows January and Gus. They are both writers and they were rivals in college. And one day, January's father, he passed away and he leaves her a beach house. And now Gus is her neighbor and she's living in this small coastal town. And in classic Emily Henry fashion, this is a romance novel that isn't just romance focused, and it's really well written. And the reason I think Beach Read matches with Labyrinth is because in Labyrinth, Taylor says, "I'm falling in love again." And in Beach Read, we watch these characters reconnecting after a long time, but also we watch them falling in love again after they both had heartbreaking breakups in a very recent past. So that's why I think Beach Read will match Labyrinth, and if you like Labyrinth, you might enjoy Beach Read. Next we have another one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs and one of my top Taylor Swift songs, You're on Your Own Kid. You're on Your Own Kid, it's a coming of age song. It's Taylor recalling her experiences growing up and her experiences to get to where she is today. And it's for that reason that I believe the book The Female Persuasion fits perfectly this prompt. I read this book around 3 years ago, and it is a coming of age stories of two characters. They were high school sweethearts, and throughout their 20s, basically they try long distance, it doesn't work, so they break up, they start to lose touch with each other, and their lives starts going on very different paths and on paths that maybe they weren't expecting it to go. And yeah, it's a coming of age story, just like You're on Your Own Kid. Next we have The Man. And The Man explores the fact that men can do the bare minimum and people will applaud them, but women need to do 1,000 times more things and dedicate 1,000 times more time and effort and stuff to receive like a quarter of the applause men receive. The Man has a strong female character. It also has Taylor Swift, but I guess Taylor Swift is also in the series I'm going to recommend to, and it is the Folk of the Air trilogy by Holly Black. This is a YA fantasy series, and in this trilogy we follow Jude. She's a human that grows up in the fairy kingdom, and in this kingdom fairies aren't as nice as towards humans. And throughout the 3 books in the series, The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and Queen of Nothing, we follow Jude as she grows up and goes on this journey to find her place in this kingdom. And the thing is just Jude. She's just so incredible. She's such a strong character. And maybe you have already heard that quote where she basically says, if I can be like them, then I will be worse than them. Jude is The Man, Garden is Taylor Swift. Now we have Illicit Affairs, which, just like The Man, it's one of my favorite performances in the Eras Tour, but Illicit Affairs, it's, as the name would suggest, a song about cheating, but what it is interesting about Illicit Affairs is that it follows the POV of the other woman, the mistress, and for that reason, I think if you enjoy Illicit Affairs, you might enjoy Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. This is a coming-of-age story that follows Frances, and she basically has an affair with a married man. And that's why I believe if you like Illicit Affairs, you might enjoy Conversation with Friends. They also have great storytelling in common. And the 13th and last song on this list is Invisible String. And what is the song Invisible String about? It is about the little details, the little things that seem to tie you to the love of your life. And for that reason, I believe if you like Invisible String, you might enjoy City of Ghosts by Elizabeth Gilbert. It's a historical fiction. Basically, the story is this 19-year-old woman, and she's telling the story of her life. Not exactly the whole story of her life, telling the story from this period a little before the beginning of the Second World War. She leaves Vassar College and she goes live with her aunt who owns this theater in New York. And there she gets to know a whole new world she wasn't acquainted with. She meets a series of very interesting people. She makes some questionable decisions. She makes something that might ruin her career. And in this journey she meets the love of her life. And the love of her life won't be the person you'll be expecting it to be. And basically this book is her writing a letter and telling the story and talking about her memories with the love of her life, for I believe she's telling it to his granddaughter. If you enjoy historical fiction, you enjoy this book. It's really long, I believe this book would have been a little bit shorter. If you read any of these books, please let me know your opinions about it in the comments. If you think these books fills the prompts, please let me know in the comments, or if you have any book that you think matches a Taylor Swift song, please let me know in the comments. If you like this video, give a like, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye!